Hi, this is gluten-free Jossie, as well as my cat playing with a toy. And today I am making a vanilla cake. And so I've got my pans, and if you watched my chocolate cake, I did the same thing where I buttered the pan, traced and put parchment paper in the bottom, buttered that, and floured it all lightly so that no cake is going to stick to those pans. The recipe I'm using actually makes 3 tiers, but because I'm making it for 4 people, I'm cutting it down to 2 tiers, which is pretty easy to do actually. It calls for a cup of butter and a half a cup of shortening, and so to make it 1/3 less, I just mix the shortening. Even when I make this for 3 tiers, I usually just use all butter because I'm not sure about shortening in a cake. Flour and sugar are both easy to cut down to 2 cups. The buttermilk and milk, because it calls for half a cup each, which comes to 1 cup, I just made a third cup each. So it's 2/3 a cup of buttermilk and milk together. And one thing that's going to be a little tricky are the eggs, because that comes out to 3 1/3 egg. So that last egg I'm going to beat separate, and just be kind of close. The baking powder, I used 1.5 teaspoons, that's pretty close. And the salt, just a skim off of the 1/4 teaspoon, really. And I think that's most of everything then that I have to adjust. The vanilla, I'm probably just gonna keep it 2 teaspoons. That's not a lot of vanilla, and it's a vanilla cake. I want it to taste like vanilla. And what really helps, I think, for your cake is to use high quality vanilla. I like Nielsen Massey, which I get at Wegmans, but it's really nice vanilla. And yeah, sometimes what I will also do is turn it into a funfetti cake. I add about 1/3 cup of sprinkles directly to the batter, mix it, and put it in the pans. And my husband really likes that. He's got kind of the heart of a child, and he likes funfetti cakes. All right, let's mix it up. Here's a picture of the vanilla extract I use by Nielsen Massey. It makes a beautiful vanilla flavor in all your treats. And I used gluten-free Jewels, my favorite gluten-free flour blend. Anyway, after mixing, I filled the pans and used a spatula to spread it pretty evenly. Make sure not to overmix your cake batter, and of course, I let the cakes cool on a wire rack. I thought it would be fun to make it a Valentine's themed cake, so I used some pink food coloring and got something of a bubblegum color on the vanilla icing. Some pink and silver sparkly sprinkles went on top to give it a little shimmer, and it's really that easy. This cake is soft and the vanilla packs a punch. I know sometimes people imagine vanilla to be a bland flavor, but I'm convinced it's because they are getting used to artificial or low quality vanilla. I will say make sure your ingredients are all room temperature. I've noticed that gluten-free Jewels flour doesn't rise a lot, and if your milk or eggs are cold, that will inhibit more rise. Happy Valentine's Day!